So I am trying to share the stream to my Facebook page, and Facebook is not letting me post it. Cool. Let's see if I can do it from my phone. Okay. Managed to get around that, thankfully. Oh, goodness. All right. So I'm uploading 2 things to YouTube. Let me make sure. Looks like the stream speed is good. My computer has not exploded, which is great. So I think as a warm-up today, now that I've posted to social and it looks like everything is up and running, I'm going to work on this painting for a little bit. I did some work on this last night for a student, and I thought it'd be cool to just kind of keep going. And at the point at which I need to stop, I'm gonna swap over and work on some commissions. So, and I do still have these 2 larger commissions that I'll be working on this month. I'm like crossing my fingers that I'm gonna get a new easel sometime during this like crazy quarantine we're all in. But I do have an old easel. I just have to break it out of storage. So So I'm just getting come on. There we go. Getting my image pulled up here. All right, that looks good. Okay. Let's paint. Kind of wondered earlier if like that's what I should call these. So I just have some like subtle adjustments to make on the main horse. I think the majority of the work today is going to be on the secondary horses. So this should not take much. So I want that little bit of orange that I added that's like, it's representing his kind of mane catching the light here. I want that to be pretty soft. I want it to blend into the grass. And not call too much attention to itself. So I'm just softening it into the horse, and then I'm bringing some of my grass color back up into it. And additionally, I think I'm going to get some transparent oxide brown, just like straight from the tube, and maybe a little transparent oxide red. And just work that in just a touch. Okay, I'll turn the volume up. Thank you. How about this? Is this better? And good evening to you. All right. Yay. Okay, good. Yeah, I was afraid. So I had the volume really high 2 sessions ago, and like went ahead and like made a new microphone setup to help like avoid some of the white noise that was like creeping in quite loudly. And this morning I didn't actually like review yesterday's video. I was just like, what if it's still too high? So I tried turning it down to what I thought was like reasonable. Oh, yeah, I feel you on being stuck in the house. I have a feeling this is kind of it, right? Like we're gonna be in for a while. So this piece I'm working on today was actually I used it for a demo for a student. I'm actually uploading that video for her. She's getting like a virtual lesson with this painting. And I just figured it would be cool to kind of keep going. I had already done the block in, and then for the lesson, I had refined this like main horse a little bit, and also like refined my block in for the background and for the grass. It looks awfully green on my screen. It is much more ochre in real life. Okay, I'll take the mic up. Beep. How is this? Or even better, if I'm like leaning over by the painting, how is this? I'm gonna ramble for a second so that hopefully you all can hear enough to tell me what it sounds like. And I'm going to continue just like bringing down some of this grass color that I had put in yesterday but hadn't really refined very much. Okay, let me know if it gets too loud or if there's like too much fan noise or just general background noise. My computer has to work super hard to stream, but it's also uploading another video right now, so yeah, the mic is definitely designed for you to stay at one distance to it. Do you want me to kind of turn it up further, or is this distance okay? And while I wait for you guys to tell me how that sounds, I'm just gonna do a little work on this horse over here. Oh gosh. Okay. This is it. This is like nothing has. I haven't turned it down at any point. This is like the raw feed from the mic's amp right now. My concern is I'm not sure I can put my tea somewhere else. I worry about other loud noises though. I'm also going to put my phone elsewhere. All right. Totally. Yep. Yeah, it looks super neon when I see it on my computer, and it's really not what it looks like. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm not sure what like the optimal setup is. Probably like to have some kind of shock in my mic stand. Certainly has been a good excuse to learn a whole lot about streaming, that's for sure. And then, like, recording a virtual lesson for a student, I have been thinking about making like downloadable lessons for a while and was just like, oh, I'll wait until like I think people are gonna blah 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 blah. Yeah, turns out people really need stuff to do now. So I might be making some downloadable lessons in addition to the YouTube videos, of course, much sooner than I would have anticipated. So, oops. All right. Right now, I'm kind of going around and just touching up some of the horses around the painting. I'm kind of just going with like what changes I can clearly see. For a minute there, I was focused on like the orange highlights where like the mane and tail were catching light. But I'm also seeing other places that I know I can address really easily. So I'm probably just going to do a good bit of jumping around here. And the gray on these horses is pretty cool. That looks pretty good. And I'm just going to have like one kind of base color here. And I'm just going to build off of it. So not thinking of it as like a formula, more just I'm going to lay down like averages before I start getting into the weeds. Last night after I stopped streaming, I went outside for a little while and there was like a massive hawk in my backyard, and my roommate and I just watched the hawk hunt little earth snakes in my yard. It was like nature's television. What have you all been up to since our last stream? This tail is a little bit, it has sunk in a bit. I think my color was right because it looks like it's shaped black, and I think it's unlikely that I didn't paint it that way. But I'm just adding some more paint so I can refresh it. I could have also oiled this out, but I'd kind of rather get the wet on wet feel, so easy enough to just put more paint down. Nice. Nice, nice. I hope you had a good painting session. So, one thing I was telling my student in my video to her on this topic is that horses are especially tricky because of all their anatomy. And there's kind of two ways to go about it. You can either like really acquaint yourself with their anatomy, or you can like really flex your skills and just copying what you see, and just drawing shapes of color. So I happen to like really enjoy drawing and painting horses, but for my reference, I actually have the image blurred quite a bit, so I can't see their anatomy as much as I just see shapes. And the cool thing about these is that a lot, especially with the blur on here, a lot of the shapes of the horses blur into the other horses, and you can't really tell where one horse ends and the other begins. So I definitely recommend a blur on things that you just don't entirely understand. That sounds like a pretty good, what has it been, like, I don't know, 20 hours? That sounds very productive. Are you up to date on Better Call Saul? Interesting that your last one wound up looking like a giraffe. I tend to have like a pretty good sense of what I mess up on these guys. I definitely have a singular way that I tend to interpret their anatomy. And I overemphasize certain aspects of it, like their noses tend to be a little bit big. They're like, the bone structure around their eye tends to be exaggerated. Their eye size tends to be exaggerated. Oh, what else? I'll tend to kind of, if a horse is like at an angle, I tend to lengthen them as if to try and put them in profile, so that I can like see all of the anatomy. Yeah, I I've never had one look like a giraffe, but I can definitely relate to the challenges. Yeah, and this one's like especially interesting because there's a lot of like this is like a tangle of legs, and when especially with like the blurred reference, I can guess it like which leg belongs to which horse or what's like actually a leg versus what's like a tail or something, which is kind of more challenging than you might expect here. I forgot how I was going to end that sentence, but it's definitely tricky. Just dry brushing over these highlights that became too light. And yeah, I'm definitely at a stage here where I I hesitate to say this, but I somewhat am thinking about the colors a little bit formulaically and am focusing on the drawing. And that's really just to say that the colors I'm picking are like the best placeholder that I think I can make. I'm much more preoccupied with is the drawing right than anything else. Yeah, I think in general it's immensely helpful to make drawings or paintings of art that others have created. It's already been like stylized and interpreted for you at that point. And I think it can kind of help you like determine your own sense of style too. Not to mention for like really tricky subjects, there's a lot of value in already having had it interpreted for you. Yeah, Jim, it's interesting. I often feel that way. Um, I was talking about this I think earlier in the day yesterday that it's easy to kind of lose the sense of spark that you had when you were first laying everything in, because you cover up a lot of that energy. And I I'm not exactly sure how I think of it. I think on the one hand, I think it's a sign that my work could be a lot more efficient, um, and I could spend more time on like really understanding the shapes of color and using as few brushstrokes as possible to achieve those shapes of color. On the other hand, though, like in a workshop with Daniel, he was saying that the real skill is when you can take it too far and make it too tight, and then you push past it and you bring that energy back into it. And I'm not inclined, like, I want to keep an open mind to that idea. I certainly don't want to like make something needlessly tight just so that I can like loosen it back up. But I also want to train myself to like take a painting that I think is like pretty good, but like a little on the tight side, and like really force myself to grapple with how to get the energy in it. So I'm just taking a look at this little guy's leg, which needs to come in a good bit. And I think about like that is probably correct. And then this foot that I suggested is like close. Yeah, and I mean, I think that if you ever think to yourself, like, oh, it really was better before, you can always, like, work on getting it back to that point. Like, unless you're working with transparency, in which case, yeah, you would need to be able to start over in some capacity. Um, you know, it's a good teaching tool. Yes. I like your interpretation because I feel like he's being a big ol' meanie, and I like pretending that they're playing instead of like trying to physically conquer another. Steven, how are you feeling? Oh, interesting. I hadn't really considered the like weight factor. Yeah, I know an artist, he's an illustrator who uses resin and ooh, it's like a single piece of art can weigh like hundreds of pounds, and that's even for like some of the smaller pieces. Okay, so obviously, like this guy's looking pretty good. There's not much to this other horse. He's like mostly hidden. I've put some good work in on. Wow, I really can't do that with my hands. Like these three horses, one, two, three. Um, that horse is really just a tail. So I'm gonna look at this guy, and then probably this guy. Oh, I'm sorry about your back. Did you have lots of hand sanitizer on Sunday? I bet the paint thinner would work. Hey, Steph. I hope you are also feeling very good, very healthy. So I'm just taking like a lighter version of the coat color, like the kind of default horse gray. And I'm just looking for places where some of these horses have lighter variations. Specifically, what I've mixed up is pretty blue. And I can see blue places like here, here, and then like on this horse's rump. And then most of the other horses have like predominantly different colors. It's like the foal is like kind of a brown purpley color. Same with this guy. What's interesting is I can't tell if they're all the same color or if they're just kind of like in shadow to the extent that they just look like they're all the same color. It's really funny about your friend. Yeah, I'm honestly like, I heard a rumor that like the governor here in North Carolina is supposed to be making a statement today. I don't know if that's true though. Like just about safety precautions or whatever. It's supposed to be pretty outside today. I'll probably go open a window here shortly. It's sort of the opposite. I'm like starting with this like mud mix, and then I have little piles off to the side of it that are variations. No like hard and fast rule there. Just it was just the easiest way to mix it up, I think. And if I were smart, I would mix the main like horse color with a palette knife, so I just had like a big ol' pile of it. Speaking of which, I'm gonna see if my upload, nope, my upload has 38 minutes left. Oh, goodness. I got a later start than I wanted today, but I think I'm still gonna like wrap up at 5. Just, I don't know, just so that I can like get some rest and try and stay as much in like an optimal condition as I can. I'm uploading so I have a student who I'm doing a virtual lesson for her. So I actually was working on this painting for her lesson, and I recorded that last night and have been trying to upload it to YouTube ever since. And it looks like finally I'm gonna get it online. It's just every other video is like a 4K video that I like speed up to be like 10 minutes long. Previously, I did that with a time lapse, so like each 4K clip was like 10 seconds. Now I'm doing it in real time and like asking my video editor to compress the time. Compress the time for me. And with this, it was all in real time because I was talking while I was painting. So it's like an hour and a half of 4K video that like my computer really doesn't want to deal with. It was 60 gigs of footage, and I compiled it all together. And if I tried to upload to YouTube with no compression, it was saying the file was 300 gigs, which is larger than the storage of my computer. So that was weird and stupid. So hopefully everything like works well and looks good. I'm definitely happy to have like a reason to be testing uploads like this. 'Cause yeah, I'm thinking, yeah, that file size though. But yeah, I was saying earlier, I'm thinking of recording, recording spec work like that. Maybe changing the setup so that you can simultaneously see the palette and the painting, and I'll just talk while I paint, and make like maybe a 2 or 3 hour video. For me, that would be a pretty fast painting, but we'll see. But it's definitely nice to kind of have the proof of concept. I thought I was gonna have to like record a separate voiceover, but It works really well with me just like talking and painting. It was probably a little bit slower, but yeah. I think the file that's being uploaded to YouTube right now is like it's either like 17 gigs or like 30. I forget what it told me. Um, and it's taking like 3 hours over fiber. And it's also uploading while I'm streaming. But the stream, I don't think has slowed it down. By the way, I'm making the bread today. So it's that's true. Yeah, there were definitely like more pauses for me to kind of think about what I was saying. Um, but it's definitely like the problem I have with recording voiceovers is so often something that takes me like 10 seconds, like putting in an initial wash, takes me like 3 minutes to explain. Um, so yeah, the advantage of recording in real time, even if it takes more recording time, is just that like I already know the audio is synced. Yes. Yeah, so the bread is going to be ready to kind of fold into the like the round, the boule um in like 10 minutes. And then let's see. And then I start preheating the oven and the Dutch oven. And that's like 30 minutes, and then I think it's 30 minutes and then 10 minutes of baking. So we might have like a brief interlude for some bread. You guys are like really just kind of getting a glimpse into my life on the stream. It's such a quiet stream today. I wonder, I know a lot of people are doing more and more streaming. I also wonder if just more people are like stuck working. Thanks. Okay, I think that's like actually the shape of his butt. Yes. Yeah, I ran out of my loaf that I used for breakfast sandwiches yesterday. So even though it's like very early in the quarantine to be using up my flour, uh, I mean, hey. Have a good call, Scott. No. Um, everything looks normal on my end. Hey, Mike. The yellow and orange places are places where like the sun is catching their mane and tail. So at this point, there's no block-in showing through. Yeah. Can you all see everything? Just want to make sure I'm not having like a legit stream problem. And Mike, I was saying earlier that it looks super duper green on my oh man, my audio problems today. They're gross. Audio looks like it's about as high as I can take it, so I'll just try and stick closer to my microphone. Glad visuals are good. Yeah, so the painting looks like super green on my screen. I have like two views of it. I have like the feed into the like encoder program for live streaming, and then I have like the view on YouTube. On YouTube, it's like toned down enough that it looks like reasonably close to what the painting actually looks like. On my like live streaming app, it's super vibrant. It looks cray cray. So hopefully, just trust that it looks more ochre than it looks on your screen. I kind of have a mind to take a break from this one and swap to a painting that I actually like have not touched in a while. It's another piece I'm making on spec, so not commissioned. Yeah, I'm gonna like rearrange my workspace so I can swap paintings in and out a little bit easier. And then I'll put the new painting up there. So bear with me for a hot second. And what I think I'm gonna do is put the new painting on the easel and then stop and like make some bread, which is gonna be, maybe like 2 minutes. And then I'll start painting on the other piece. Hey Google, what's the temperature outside?
The current temperature in Raleigh is 63.
Sunshine for the sunshine bee. Okay. So, other painting is up. The white balance on it looks a little weird. Like there's actually you can probably see it. There's like a great deal of variation in the white here, but hopefully as I actually like get to painting, that's gonna look good again. Um, I am going to do a quick bio break, wash my hands for 5 hours, just kidding, and then make or get this bread ready to put in the oven. And I'll be back in like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Scusi.
I thought you were streaming.
I am streaming to decompress.
Oh. Now I add my own art.
I'm doing a reveal. Let's see. Of what my dough looks like. I'm making that dough. Okay, you can like kind of see him. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna like put this out on a floured surface and kind of like form it into a loaf, and or like a round, I guess technically. And yeah, he's gonna sit for another like half hour while the oven preheats. I will be right back. Okay. The bread is rising. Yay! I'm glad you like your edge. So I got the little steel backing. Since this is totally dry, it's easy for me to show you. I went to a sheet metal fabricator and see if I can actually make this like this. There we go. I went to a sheet metal fabricator and asked them to, like, what the cheapest, thinnest, I think it was like galvanized steel, maybe. Basically, I just asked for something that would be lightweight and magnetic. And I asked them to cut it into 5-inch or 5.5-inch squares, and then I adhere them using 3M command strips. So just the small size ones that you use for like really lightweight stuff. I've literally never had a single issue with adhesion with those, whereas using like just tape, yeah, it's not great. The command strips work perfectly. The like magnetic sheets work perfectly. Yeah. And I got the idea from the little, I think when you buy the edge, they send you like a sample backing, and I was like, I want to know how they made this. Because I really like not having to paint around the clips. It just makes it so much easier. Like, things stay on the easel, great. The only time that hasn't been true was when I was painting with a much bigger panel than the size of the paint book. I think it was like a 12 by 16, and it was positioned like portrait orientation, and the whole thing was on its side. So anytime I like painted on the top, where it didn't have the back of the easel supporting it, it was like a little rickety. So there I did use the clips to reinforce it, and it works great. But yeah, if you just go to a sheet metal fabricator and like explain what you're looking for, they will find something for you. I think I paid $45 for the sheet and for them cutting it, and it took, like, I was there maybe 10 minutes. All right. So I'm just gonna get out my reference for this. I'm also gonna check on that upload. 9 minutes left. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm hoping that we're not cooped up here for very long. Otherwise, I'm gonna make a ton of art videos. So, buckle up. Oh, goodness. All right. I have a vague question right now as to whether or not I need to take a new photo of this. No, this looks recent. Yeah, exactly. And like with so much of the stuff that Edge makes, I was like, you have like a 10x markup on this. Um, like the light. Ooh, I'm gonna show you my light setup. So this might be like a little tricky to see, but that's actually like I used the like snake mechanism that they sent for to like buy the light, but I found out that the light itself is crap. It's like truly not good. It doesn't have a way to plug in. And it's the mechanism that hooks it onto the mount is like horrific. Um, Whereas this, if you want, I can like attach a link at some point. But this, I actually have like tremendous control over the angle of this, whereas the one they sent me just like fell in the socket because the socket sucks and the plastic was wearing and blah blah blah. So I got this Viltrox, what is it, L116T. You can put a battery in the top of it, but it also just has like a DC out. And yeah, I just have like a brick on my tabletop here and it plugs into regular power, and I don't have to worry about like charging battery packs for it. It's a little bit larger, and the attachment into this snake mechanism is like so much better. And yeah, like I found the one that they bought on Amazon to include in the kit, and it's like a $35 thing that they're selling for, like I don't know, like 150 or something probably. Exactly, with that terp jar. So yeah, other than like literally the palette itself, anything that I could buy on my own separately, I did. Let's make sure that looks good. Yep. Oh, thank you, Steven. Okay, I'm moving this just so that my webcam doesn't block. Yeah, that's better. I'm gonna push it down a little bit. Yay! Okay, you can see the whole painting now. Woohoo! I'm having to resist the urge so bad, Steven, to call the people who are sending my new easel and being like, "You're still making it and sending it to me, right? Because I really want it. I want it now." I feel like that's like insensitive though. Oh, okay. I do need to take a photo of this. I kind of have like half of mine to oil this out, and then the other half of me is like, don't bother. Let's just see. I want to just see how sunken it is. This is just Gamsol for the record. Was that my sentence about wanting the easel real badly? If it was, I just want them to send me that easel so bad. Oh, yes. Yes. It's too bad I can't, like, stream from, like, a plein air location. I mean, I guess I, like, kind of could with my phone after I have 1,000 subscribers, but I bet it would still be, like, really bad. Okay. I'm trading the glare of this painting being sunken for the glare of, like, something really shiny reflecting the light from my workspace, but that's okay. Yeah, I think I will. Like, my emails are already, like, overwhelmingly polite. Okay. That was not. There's no way that oven is preheated. No way. Okay. This is so interesting because I have, like, drawing problems here, and I'm like, well, it's a landscape. Like, do I care? It's like forever my question with these kinds of things. Is this your Uber Eats boondoggle?
It's not. It's my escape into virtual reality.
Oh, okay.
Spacer pants.
My roommate has, like, a crazy idea to Uber Eats a whole bunch of McDonald's and, like, freeze the hamburgers. I expressed to him that I thought this was, like, the dumbest idea. But if you think I'm wrong, you tell me, and I'll repent. No, it is not a landmark. So it's I think less about, like, would people notice if this is different, and more about, like, is it gonna be as good of a painting? Like, I live in portrait land where you know, you don't sacrifice a likeness. So here, where like my primary objective is just like make it look like a rock or make it look like water, I'm just like, excuse me? And the texture, especially of like these rocks, it's really pretty. And I'm like, how do I paint that? Just kind of genuinely uncertain. Yeah. And I think a landscape painter would probably say, like, you need to understand how to capture the likeness or, like, paint a convincing whatever it is, whether it's a rock or a tree or whatever. Um, but I don't know the secrets. And I feel like there are secrets. That looks. I mean, let's hope my paint doesn't run, which it probably will, but like. Looks like better greenery than it looked a minute ago. So let me make sure that you guys can see. Yeah, that looks good. I feel like the irony of like working on foliage is it's probably the thing that I should put in dead last. But if it's an easy win, I think I'll take it. Because I could definitely use a sense of like, you can do this. Oh, thank you. That makes me really happy. I'm glad that I think what's kind of interesting about these is that it's mainly like you hearing my thought process as I try and figure out what to do rather than me being like, and here's how you paint a waterfall. So I hope that that's yeah, I hope that that particularly has some value. My cat is trying to summon the burbs outside. Community watch supervisor at work. She's gonna get him. It's amazing how I could look at that think to myself, like, yeah, I think that's straight white. And be like, well, like, let's just see. And lo and behold, it needs blue or yellow, and the painting, like, it does not hesitate to tell me what it needs. So let's see, I think next thing I'm going to adjust here is just going over to the side and like softening this blue. And I think because the water is rough, I don't really need that to be a soft edge. We're gonna see. I can always like repaint that area, which sounds dramatic, but really it just means like put a stroke of fresh blue paint down. Carrie Dunn, that name sounds really familiar. Well, these are gorgeous. Okay, so I have a friend who teaches up at Studio in Caminati, like on occasion. It's like on a workshop basis. His name is David Shivlino, and he does. He came up with academic training, and then I will not put my tea down on the mic table. And then has like moved into doing abstracted work. He's kind of famous for like these paintings of divers or sumo wrestlers that are very have great light and color, but are also like very brushy. And I went to go paint with him a couple weeks ago, and he was like, I want you to see this one instructor from Studio in Caminati who's doing something really cool, and showed me Carrie's work. So that's, I don't know, I just thought that was like really neat. Yeah, Nelson Shanks, man, it's awesome. But yeah, David really liked how like he's taking the work in a different direction where like it's his work. And he thought that was really exciting. Sketches. New works? Yeah, like if you go to Carrie's website, like all the new works are really cool. I also just liked how like it wasn't just women that he was posing. And not just like he has a male model, but like the male models also kind of get the male gaze treatment, which I think is a step in a positive direction. Yeah, I dare say you were quite lucky. Okay. I'm gonna give the oven 10 more minutes before I put my bread in, and in the meantime, okay, so what I really am afraid to do is like just dive into palette knife work, thinking that like the thing that's going to save my painting is something gimmicky. My hope is that this can encourage me to be a good bit like looser and work with not like objectively thick paint, but definitely thicker paint. Like just be more confident in the paint application. That's what I would really like to see for this painting. opened the window for my cat and she's loving it. She's like, this is the best day. Alright, that's a little on the soft side. Like, it's just sort of blending with everything, and I don't love that. I kind of feel like I'm playing just a little bit to see, like, what kind of marks I like, what I think is gonna work here. I do think so. Originally, you can kind of tell I had like a horizontal paint stroke to put that in, which like I think in a block in makes sense. But now that we're past block in, these are all like all the rocks are flaky, and I'm sure like a proper landscape painter would remember what that's called from like earth science class. I do not. um, but I think the trick here is going to be to suggest that flakiness by using vertical strokes, even on like an object that has like a pretty strong horizontal aspect ratio to it. I think one disadvantage I have right now is that I wanted to put just a little bit of Gamsol on this to wake it up. Like, not necessarily full oiling out, but just like, just to kind of see the extent of the glare, which is probably stupid. Because now, like, my paint texture is kind of off, and the paint's going to handle a little bit differently. That looks nice. It didn't get too watery. The paint kind of held some of its body, which is what I wanted. Okay. What I think I probably need to do here is kind of pick a section, get really excited about that section, and let everything else, like, let my lens kind of gradually zoom out as things start coming into the degree of finish that I want them to have. So I'm actually going to start on a section that I did not put any Gamsol over, which is this like waterfall bit. I don't think it's going to take a tremendous amount of work to get to where I want it. And then my hope is that by the time I'm done painting on this, some of the Gamsol will have evaporated, and I really want to work on, like, I think this area of rock next. It just, in my reference, it is quite pretty, and I think I'll have an easier time kind of latching on to it. So this is a place where I am adjusting the drawing. Because what's there is more interesting than what I painted. I definitely got kind of suckered into, like, the way the water is falling isn't quite naturalistic. So I'm just like feathering that in a little bit. Overall, a lot of this looks like pretty nice. Like, this color is as it should be. I'm gonna have to introduce some like yellow in here and up here, but I don't think that's gonna be a problem. Yeah, just the overall effect is definitely, it's on its way. One thing I really like about painting water. Not that I have done it literally more than one time, but I think you can just like really play with the brush and let it show you a whole lot of different ways you can use it. And I'm already kind of getting that sense here of I can see what the brush strokes are going to look like before I put them down. Oh, my cat is dramatic. Like, I like that I get to play with more dry brush here. I'm probably gonna have to tone back a good bit of what I'm putting in here right now, but like that's okay. Yes, I would love to see your folder full of images. Yes, please. And I think you're right about the rocks. That sounds familiar. And welcome back, Scott. Okay. Okay, I am going to go ahead and do something I'm kind of surprised I haven't already done, which is put a blur on this. That blur is like so incredibly inconsequential. But it helps a good bit. I might blur it again. So blur, lens blur, and we're gonna blur it a lot. These rocks have so many like highlights and shadows on them. That's like what I'm really trying to knock out. I want there to be a very definitive, like, don't get lost in the noise. And visually, they are extremely noisy. So already, that was a pretty substantial help. want to go ahead and do something. Yeah, I want to go ahead and start thinking about adding a little bit of yellow into this. It's going to be that color that water, like, of water kicking up dirt when it's super turbulent. I have a lot of paint on my brush. Looks like my value is a little bit on the light side. Still on the light side. And it's kind of interesting. It's like somewhere between it has a green pull to it, and I'm still not exactly sure where the line is. There, that looks better. Okay. Now I see if I can't kind of bring my white into that. I have a super light hand here. I really don't want the white to disturb or blend with any of the color I put down before. One thing I'm not loving though is how uniform the texture is that I'm creating. So I'm trying to be mindful of that and figure out like how I can mitigate that. Oh, hello, Boomer. Yes. Okay, so I have like my kind of dirty white, I have a warm white, and I'm gonna go ahead and mix up a cool light. By light, I mean white. Okay. I'm going to put my bread in the oven. I'll be right back. Okay, it's in the oven. All right. Cover and bake for 30 minutes, and then after 30 minutes, remove lid and parchment paper. Return uncovered to oven and bake 10 to 15 more minutes. Cool. I'm gonna let you know how this bread turns out. Don't worry. We're in this together now. I know. I'm not like properly hungry, but there's a part of me that's like, I could eat right now. You could do it. So how do you guys feel about a stream tomorrow? I have a call that I hop on in the morning, and then I'm thinking about joining a webinar in the afternoon, but I'm not sure like what the webinar is going to tell me that I don't already know, so I'm kind of on the fence. So if you guys like definitely want to hang out on the stream, that is really good to know. If you have a whole lot of work to do, and it might be nicer if I streamed like later in the day, or like, you know, came back on Friday. Yes. No, that Whisper Man, like, I spent 7 years working at home. It's dangerous. It's super dangerous. Like, I want to, like, go to my therapist and be like, is this normal? Like, what is wrong with my brain? Why does it tell me that I should be hungry all the time? Oh, goodness. Waterfalls are hard. I have another one I like a whole lot. Okay, that's good to know. What I'll probably do is like see how the webinar is, and if it's useful, then I'll just like postpone the stream and do that more like late afternoon and into the evening. If it's not, I'll probably start streaming about the same time that I did today. I'm so hungry suddenly. I'm like, how can I paint when there's food? Oh, goodness. Well, I have like an hour and a half, really more like an hour's worth of like, let's have a productive painting work day. I may abandon my waterfall here and switch to a commission. It could just be that I'm having, you know, like just kind of like an ADD painting day. Okay, off this goes. Okay, so we didn't work on Millie yesterday. Let's see. I'm gonna bring the camera back up. Oliver, do you sense the bread?
I smell the bread.
Yeah. Dangerous.
How did it look to you?
Well, I've only just put it in. But, I mean, so far so good. I mean, it looks like bread.
It's exciting. Are you excited?
I'm hungry.
A lot of butter.
Oh, man. Butter.
Nothing like fresh bread and butter.
Yeah. There's a part of me that's like mildly concerned that my camera battery is not charging via USB right now. So I'm crossing my fingers that the icon is indicating that it's charging via USB. And that it doesn't just spontaneously die. If it does, though, like, I'll still be here in the tiny webcam window, and I'll just need to fiddle around to fix it. Okay. Where's that boomer?
Oh, wow. There you go.
Oh, hi, boomer.
Wow.
Boomer, do you want to be on the stream?
Oh, wow.
She's She's like, no, I want laser.
She knows when the stream is going on and stops talking.
I know. She's talking to the burbs.
That's good. No.
Oh, God. Thank you. Thank you for yelling. I wish I could, like, have a really quiet ping when someone messages me. Live chat. What is slow mode? Oh, yeah, we're not doing that. You guys can post as much as you want. Okay. It doesn't seem that I can make my chat make a noise, but that's okay. I'll just, like, pay attention. What are you working on today, Steven? My last pass on Millie here was definitely a good one. This is looking much improved. That sounds cool. Is it actually cool? Good morning.
Good morning. Well, afternoon.
Yeah, whatever. Gotcha. Yeah, I can see that.
Sorry for it's the loudest thing ever.
It's okay. I don't think the mic can pick it up. Alright. So on Millie, I'm really just kind of scanning around for like what I see that's obvious, and thankfully there are several things. So that is the name of the game. Similarly, my like purple streak looks like a little weird. So I'm just introducing a little bit of our like golden color to neutralize it. And I think that looks better. It's already like less distracting. Oof, I hate that color. That was super dull.
You're baking in here or Oliver's?
It's mine.
How long is it, Dan?
It's gonna be.
And what is it?
It's bread. It's gonna be in there for 25 minutes.
I'm just wondering, is it, if I open it up, will it mess up if I put something in?
If you're fast, probably not.
Okay. Well, how long, when did you put it in? 25 more minutes?
It's
or-
25 more minutes,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Alright, I might just have to wait because I'm trying to make some toast, but I'm putting stuff on the toast, so I can't just put it in the toaster.
Yeah, I got you.
Making radish toast. Radishes do not go in the toaster. Though I've seen people like turn their toasters to the side and then use them, but that feels like a fire hazard.
Yeah, I think I've seen people critique those videos and be like, "You gonna die."
Yeah. I won't die. You know what we could use right now? A house fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright. Will you just call me when your thing finishes? So I'm
Yep,
gonna
I
put
will.
mine back in, because I probably should blitz it anyway, as opposed to baking it, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, oh, you could use like the top shelf for the broiler, and I was like, oh wait.
It'll mess your stuff up. It's weird. I don't know. There's like weird science about that. Like ovens are so fucking weird. Sorry, cursing on your live stream.
I don't think you're audible.
Everyone cares.
Okay, so her tongue there is probably a little on the light side. Like, it's reading to me as being part of like her mouth, like her lip, I guess. When it should not look like that. So I think that looks a bit nicer. And similarly, her tooth goes there. And this one's like pretty accurate. All right. Yeah, I feel like Millie is definitely at the exciting stage where, like, it's quickly becoming a finished painting. And it's funny because I couldn't really see that, like, last time when I stopped. I was, like, I think too tired to appreciate that. missed a very turned up cat this morning, Suzanne.
What'd she do?
She had the zoomies.
No.
Yes.
She's a zoomer. She seems pretty turned still.
Yeah, she's had a good bird watching sesh.
The birds are all out there. I'm in here.
I know there's a part of me that was like, I wonder if animals get depressed who don't get to go outside. And then I was like, do I need to build my cat a catio? That's a thought that can get out of hand very quickly.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. She probably would love a catio, but where would you put your patio? Like right here?
I guess. I don't think there's any good way to do it. Boomer's like, I want one.
If I pet you right now, I got tomato on my hands, and you'll be really mad at me. I know it. Probably your room would be the better place for the patio.
It's a really good idea.
Because, like, this would be really hard to, like, if we come in and out of that door.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's not a good viewing area for her viewing pleasure.
Yes. I wonder if she hears us and she's just getting the scratches out. She's looking at me like a crazy animal.
Boom.
Okay. So this eye still needs some work. Yeah, there was a lot of like her and Oliver like running after each other this morning. There's a really good one where he was like where you're standing, and she was like on this side of the island, and like you could tell like from where I was sitting, like she was like trying to fucking like sneak up and get him. And one time she ran by, and we couldn't observe whether or not it happened, but it looked like she wanted to like do like a drive-by.
Just like a swipe and like
yep.
Right
and like boom into my bedroom.
I think that's what she wants to do all of us all the time.
When she's not in like low power mode.
She wants to like have fun and like
yes.
Like, come after me.
Yes, Oliver's point was he was like, I think Boomer has a pretty good life.
She does. But she could use a catio.
Just
kidding.
You get it. You get it.
My sister is in Sydney, Australia.
How are you? Yeah.
That's good.
Good.
That's a good thing because it's a good thing because she had gotten out of Darwin and she got to even go to a hotel to wait for her 11 hours between her flights.
Oh, good. So she will get to like get on a plane to the States.
Hopefully.
Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Oh my god. The cat is crazy. I should really just like move the stream off of me painting and like literally just make it like a Boomer stream, and we can just talk about
how much we love Boomer.
Yeah, we can just enjoy my cat being excited. Ooh. I like how she's in her bed and she's like, no, Suzanne, we're being calm now. Don't touch my feet.
No, but she's like ready to do her kick thing.
Yes.
Like the legs are big.
I feel like she's like, yeah. Oh, goodness. I really want to... It's too bad I can't take my whole streaming setup and move it like 10 feet in that direction. Because this is real cute. Steven says that I need a GoPro just for Boomer. Would the GoPro like be on Boomer? Because I think that would be super disorienting. She would eat it like she ate that sweater that I got her. Both of the sweaters.
She's not a sweater lady.
I want to see if if my camera can see her. It's probably way too far off in the distance.
You wanna play? Or you wanna swap me?
You're on candid camera, Suzanne.
Oh no, I'm not wearing necklace.
You look lovely. She looks...
She's so, like, she wants to play, but she doesn't. Let me see, where's her...
What you need, oh, yeah, some
What?
toys. Some,
What?
oh, the sock.
She's like, I don't like being watched. I want her to do the thing where, you know, you toss it and then she, like, throws her hands up and, like,
Yes.
plays with it.
I think that she is learning that, like, jazz hands is a way to ask for a laser, which is
Yeah.
an interesting development.
That is, like, it's so cool, it's so weird. Just having so much fun.
Get it, Lord. Get it.
Get it. Toss it. Are your massive balloons in frame?
No, they're not. Okay. You guys want some painting?
It's like, could you please stop talking about your fucking cat?
We all need some cats right about now. I think we can all agree on that. Okay. So I'm taking a look at her eye, which requires a brush that's probably a single hair. So that'll be interesting. All right. Boomer, what's the matter?
Everyone stop playing with me.
Okay, that is too light.
Everything's fine.
Oh, this is the stage where she runs around the house and hollers.
It's time. I like that Oliver's gonna be in the middle of, like, a work hog and we're just gonna go and start screaming at him.
Scrum, scrum, scrum.
Scream, scream, scream. He's a screamy lady.
Oof. Like tumbled back up into her cat bed.
Come on there. Oh, you're cute.
I like how she's looking at you like, what is wrong with you?
I'm trying to get her into jazz hands.
So far, it seems to be an Oliver ability, but yeah, because, and it's not like he summons it, it's like she thinks that he's going to bring the laser, and so she offers it.
Yeah. Well, that one time when we all did it and she did it, it was the funniest thing.
We're trying to teach my cat to stand on both of her legs and do a stretch like this. It's actually working.
We've been trying for like 6 months. Baby. Oh, now you want some pets, huh? Now you're not getting any.
Only exactly 3.
She thought you do like
And then she
8
bites.
whole pets.
Oh,
Wait,
wow.
hears the burp, so she's just like.
Oliver and I witnessed some serious nature yesterday. We went out after work and like sat on the patio for a minute, or the deck for a hot sec, and a hawk swooped down and got 2 snakes
2 snakes.
and ate them like right in front of us.
It got 2 of them at once?
No, it got one and then it got another.
Dang.
Yes.
Nature, you scary.
Yes.
There's at Shelley Lake there's an eagle's nest that's been there for the last 2 seasons, at least.
Mhm.
And I don't know if it was before, but it's baby eagle time.
Oh man.
And yeah, so they have like a thing put off which is like, please shut up around here. This is a bald eagle nest. Like, please don't make noise. And the bald eagle, like people are sitting there like with like crazy zoom lenses trying to like see it from far because it's really high up. Like it's really really high up. And I keep like wanting to see like mama bald eagle go out and like come back with like, I don't know, like what are they even, like snakes, but like I don't know, the hugest prey ever.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine that one's like squirrels and stuff, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, the hawk got some baby snakes. We were having a discussion of whether we thought that it could get a larger one, and Oliver, I think, correctly observed that it would have been paying attention to the squirrels if it would eat a larger snake. Okay, so this is my remove the top of the Dutch oven. You have, it's going to be 10 minutes. Oof. Okay. I am so excited for this bread. Oh.
What kind is it?
Just like an artisan, like
Just a bread.
Just a bread.
A white bread?
Yep, that's me. The top of that Dutch oven that's on the stove is very hot.
I will not touch.
Yeah, I'm hoping that by the time it all comes out that it's cool. Alright, I'm going to soften this edge a little bit, so just mixing a little bit of a transition color here. I'll holler.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, I think I'm gonna start doing some like fun things on here, which is gonna take the form of like little wispy highlights. I feel like I'm dropping the ball on being instructional or entertaining. So I'm kind of just like focusing on lights at the moment, like places where the light could be stronger. Thankfully, with her being so fluffy, I can definitely like kind of scumble things in and it'll look really pretty. That might be a little bit too light, I'm not sure. I'm really actually excited to paint her hindquarters here because there's a lot of really pretty soft color that's out of focus, so it's just going to be like nice brushwork. It's not going to really matter if there is detail here. She's gonna be really pretty, you guys. What I think I'd like to do now is actually pay a little bit of attention to the background. I like the overall color. I don't think it's going to be more literal than this. I kind of just want it to look a little bit more finished. So need to find my walnut oil wherever I put that. The answer is away. I put it away. All right, taking bread out of the oven. I'll be right back. This bread, it looks and it smells so good. Okay. Oof, all right. Who's still hanging out with me? Just out of curiosity. Yay! Alright, texting my roommate that the oven is all hers. Can't wait to show you this bread. Seriously. It's gonna be so good. How was your walk yesterday, Stephen? Was it a delight? Did you get your vitamin D? Nice. Yeah, yesterday I had this like whole plan for everything I wanted to do after I turned the stream off, and today I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I hear you. I can only imagine what it's gonna be like when we kind of have the all clear to go back to normal, and like everything is gonna be packed. Yeah, I agree with you.
Smells good.
I'm so ready.
Smells like a bread. Oh, it looks pretty.
Right?
You scored the top and everything.
I actually didn't.
Oh, you just let it burst? It
Yeah.
just burst pretty?
Right.
Cool.
I'm very excited for this recipe. I hope it's delicious.
I'm sure it will be.
Steven, I'm not like cool enough to understand your Treasure Planet GIF reference, and for that I feel true like nerd shame. She's looking mighty nice. I'm quite excited. Oh, I remember now that Treasure Planet, we talked about it at a party, and I was like, some lame-o movie. And you were like, Treasure Planet is a great movie.
Treasure Planet is a great movie.
I haven't seen it though.
So you know, you're wrong.
I wonder if Netflix. It'd be really cool if they enabled like a like watch party mode. I feel like to some extent this already exists.
Like Rabbit. Rabbit does that already, where you can like video while watching things.
Ah.
Like I guess it's like the split screen or something like that.
Yeah.
I've never used it, but
I know Oliver's used something like that before.
yeah.
Yes.
Just everyone gets together and watches each other eat. Just stream it out.
what is the purpose of it?
So in Korean culture, usually you sit down and you eat with like your family, and like eating together is a very social thing. Like, not that it isn't in other places, but like I think it has a little bit more special of a place than like sitting down and like a lot of food you cook in Korea, you cook at the table, you know. So it's like got a little bit. It's a little bit different. So people who are increasingly working like really long hours and who are far from their families a lot of the time because of where they have to work will like there's like these like Twitch streamers who are like it's I think it's mukbang, and they just like eat their food, like a lot of food, in front of the camera, and people watch them and like also eat their food so they don't feel alone while they're eating.
That's great.
Yeah, it's sort of like what you're doing but just with food.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen like YouTubers do versions of this, but it was always just like let's eat while we like make a video. So I didn't really understand the meaning.
An extra social thing that does not apply to quarantine times. It just is.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. But I don't know. I guess all live streams are, right? Like, I don't want to feel this alone. I want to do something with people. So Korea just did it first.
Okay. Yeah. I know, so I'll have to ask Oliver, like, if whatever he's used before is still a thing. Because I've definitely used... I've definitely used something like that before. Like a Chrome extension so that you could sync up Netflix or whatever. Oh my god, it's perfect.
Having a dog today.
Yes, I have 3 dogs.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I'm just trying to do a little bit at a time on each one of them. Okay. So...
Oops. A little too long on the toasts.
So his leg, there's like kind of a haze on the photo, which I think kind of works. And it meant that his leg was just too dark. So I am just lightening him up. I relate to the staring. Yeah. I'm like kind of nearing that point myself of like, and I need to do something else. Interestingly, like even though I stopped at 5 yesterday, around 9:30 or 10, I was like, I'm gonna film a lesson, and came back and painted for another like hour and a half. So I wonder, when I like stop for today, if I'm actually done or I don't know. Okay.
So to pass the bill.
What is in the bill?
Leave and money for people who are going to be affected by this, I believe. I'll check that in a sec.
I assume it was Pelosi's bill?
Yeah.
Cool.
But I'm not sure exactly what is in it right now. Because Pelosi was like fighting against the universal stuff like more than like Mitt Romney was,
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's a weird reversal here.
How are they even voting?
A lot of them are there, but I think that they have an ability to suspend there's a rule for it, the procedure or whatever. They can suspend it. It has to be on the floor, and I was like, they can do emergency extensions for extenuating circumstances. There are plans in place.
Yeah.
It's not something people didn't think of.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 4:20. You know what that means. It's time to eat bread. Okay. I'm gonna be right back. I'm bringing the bread to you.
Are you gonna show it to them?
Yes. I mean, they have a right to see.
The beauty. Is it done?
He's a warm boy.
Oh, there's his warm boy things right there.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, there's one here and one here.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Warm boy. He's a thick boy too.
Yes.
Crispy boy. I left that knife out if you want to cut. It had a little bit of butter on it, but I figure you probably won't care.
No. That's correct. I'm gonna leave that out. It is still hot.
I'm not touching anything. I don't need anything.
Great.
I'm eating my radish toast.
Nice. It looks delicious.
Okay.
Some A+ quality you're getting right here.
Are you showing it off to your people?
Of course I am. What else would I do at a time like this?
Right. Is it fully proof?
Oh man, the steam. The steam. I'm a bread YouTuber, you know. Yep.
She's bread tubing. And we are Paul Hollywood. We must tell her.
If the bake is good.
Like,
Then it is Cindy.
that's step one.
Step two. She's the Lynn Darwin last night.
Can you guys see the steam? You probably can't see the steam.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I love it.
Can I see a slice?
see the steam.
Perfect.
High quality.
I need butter.
Yeah.
I might need a sharper knife.
Yeah, Chelsea only used a small portion of the yeast, and we have a ton more yeast coming. So
But yeah, there's no yeast at Costco.
it's cool.
Or flour, they're out.
Yeah, we have a bunch of wheat flour. We have some white flour. A lot more white flour would be nice. We get like big, flaky things. And emerge from quarantine looking like the people from Wall-E.
Well,
Please,
I understand
please
what
share
we're
all the
gonna
bread
do.
puns.
What?
We'll have this for a while.
Yeah.
Stuff will open back up. We're
Yeah.
gonna have mini quarantines for
Right.
the rest of the year.
Right.
Over the next 2 years, probably.
Yeah.
Where do I put the top?
2 weeks is a reasonable time for everything to be shut down.
Mhm.
And that after that, like, we'll start to see small scale, like, openings back up, and like life will start to return to normal.
And
Just
then
on a
it'll,
general basis.
yeah.
He said that like rolling kind of like mini quarantines are possible, but like
New York
it's not
Times,
like
New York Times did one today about that specifically, rolling quarantines as a possibility, just to try to
control the
control stuff as it
turn the valve.
China will probably, they said China will probably have many quarantines going
Yeah,
forward
yeah.
too everywhere. Well, it
Yeah.
just will be how we have to deal with
Yeah.
pandemics. Which is, I also saw a post yesterday about this like political science-y person was like, this is horrible and awful and really bad, but also the data that we are going to get from
Oh,
this
yeah.
is going to be the most amazing thing we've ever gotten with public
Yeah.
health. Like
Yeah.
like really awful and terrible, but like, I mean, they're talking about using cell phone data, which
I saw that, yeah.
I
But in
need to
terms
know
of
more.
like, I mean, if this is
Oh my
the
god. It's a
pandemic that we're
great
gonna prepare
bread
for worse
pun.
pandemics, then
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I was talking earlier, like
Chelsea has to have a bag of bread.
she has to like
Kill him.
glide the butter
That was
onto the
beautiful.
bread.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Why would anyone make any bread other than this?
Can I have
Why
some
would
of
you
this
ever
bread?
eat any other bread?
Yeah. You have to
Um,
come make it though.
Well, I had to buy mine from the local bakery to support their sourdough. It's very important to me.
You should have asked if you could have some sourdough. Some starter.
Maybe we should make some. I feel like, yeah, I'm not as much of a bread person as you guys are. I know that's crazy if I'm sitting here eating bread with radish on it, but I am considering getting a thing of milk and making fresh cheese, because that would go really good on bread with
Yeah.
honey.
Yeah.
I feel like I could do like ASMR of me like chewing the bread right up against the microphone.
Are these stuffed pretzels?
Yeah, they're little peanut
Oh,
butter pretzels.
that's cute.
There's
Yeah.
A+ puns happening in my chat right now.
What are they saying?
The stream has really gone awry.
Says Stephen.
I love you guys. Puns can go stale though.
How many people are in your stream?
A whopping 4 people.
Yay!
I'm one of those.
Yep.
Sweet.
So 3 whole people.
I'm streaming IRL. Just like
We have Steven, Scott, and Mike.
Sup, Steven, Scott, and Mike?
And also informally Oliver and also Steph.
Sweet.
did Chelsea tell you we saw a hawk that ate 2 snakes while we watched? Like
Big snakes, bye-bye.
slurped them up like spaghetti. Yeah. I mean,
Brutal.
yeah.
It was brutal.
Yeah.
I was telling Chelsea there's a eagle's nest at, Charlie?
Mhm.
There's one this past 2 days in the one. So there's bald eagle and there's a baggy. Awesome, I
Yeah.
think.
Oh, that's just beautiful.
So I just like wanna see like the
I'm gonna be making this bread like every day.
I don't know, a rabbit or
Yeah.
something, you know, something ridiculous. I don't know what they eat, but
Chelsea was saying that she expected the hawk to like come back with like a giant copperhead or something. I was like, Chelsea, birds are just like it's a big bird, but it's like not that big a bird. Like but an eagle. You know.
that one takes what it wants.
Yes.
You get what you want.
People in the stream are saying hi to you guys.
Hi.
What's up?
This is Suzanne and Oliver, who are not on camera,
No.
and I'm not even sure how audible they are.
So I don't have to be direct center in the stream. In my filthy state, you just slice me a piece of bread, please.
You don't want to be on the
I
stream?
don't want to be on the stream. I'm not a streamer. I was a tech theater. I wasn't an actor.
Get reckless.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, I went to, did you guys go to Union for February? Union Special, it's on Capitol. They just opened it up 2 months ago and it was wonderful. And so I went and bought some stuff and then yesterday because they're all going to pick up all the, you know, they
Yeah,
can have people
I
in.
mean, that's a great place to do pickup.
Oh yeah.
Everything's gonna be fresh.
I ordered it online.
Yeah.
And I was like, hi. I
The
said,
bread
"Hey,
is so
here's
hot."
your bag."
Next time, you place an order, like with me and
Come on.
I'm gonna have Venmo you soon.
Okay, you're
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. I'm not listening.
Yeah.
Really listening.
Yeah.
I cannot escape from you, literally.
But yeah, I'll let you know. They have a cool.
You want butter?
Sure, if you feel like buttering it. If that's, I guess that's your stream now.
Yep, this is my whole life now. I'm
Yeah.
just baking, and then it's like some really bad ASMR.
Honestly, I think baking and art, like, together is just like a deeply...
You need to make that your thing. It's like you just make a thing all day, like you're painting while you're cooking.
But then, no, I feel like you should be like, bake art. It's like, you do art for a little while, and you're like, I feel like
Here,
baking something.
I'm gonna let the camera like enjoy your slice of
Yeah,
bread.
as it, like, butter melts.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Chelsea.
You're welcome.
Or did you think of a good pun for baking and painting together?
Yeah. So yeah, we're okay. So the roommates have decided that it needs to be a baking and painting stream. We need a good punny name. Let me know what you got.
I don't know if you want it to be bread specific or not. Probably not. You make cookies and stuff a lot.
Yeah.
It's a little subject specific. You go with, like, flowers and flowers. But, like, you've been painting mostly pets, so it's quite work.
Yeah, you're not playing a lot of flowers right now. You're not in a flower phase.
I'm about to start doing flowers.
Flowers squared. Oh, butter. So much.
We need a lot of flour.
We do, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about looking into, like, industrial kitchen, ordering, like ordering in legit bulk and getting, like, a couple big bags that way.
I might also just like go to the grocery store at 7 a.m. when it opens. You'll get some. Costco had soap and stuff yesterday.
That's why
Not-
I didn't need to open your package. I thought it was mine.
That's Target.
Oh.
No, it was Target. I ordered that a few weeks ago though. It was like the only antibacterial. It took like 2 weeks to get here, but I found regular non-bacterial soap. Also, I was reading about it, and it said that antibacterial is actually not necessarily encouraged because antibacterial might increase your resistance to bacteria, so that does the bad things. Versus the actual structure of like washing your hands, soap like explodes the. And so they were like, hey, just use like regular stuff. And so I was like, ooh, they're selling 16 counts of Dove at Costco.
I've mostly been using the Lush soap that we have down there. Yeah, I actually worked as a manager at Lush. Asked her, like, what would you recommend for this? And she was just like, yeah, basically
This was
all
not
Lush
enough
soap.
bread. I want like
Bacon soap, right?
I want like I don't know.
People make soap the other
I don't
day,
know.
like on a YouTube.
I want a lot of bread. I want a giant loaf.
We made it.
I do like big buns, and I cannot lie.
Also, that was crazy. It was gross. It was.
Yeah, as soon as we get like, I mean, it's not we don't have flour. It's just like flours are very like.
Well,
use of
thankfully,
flour
like
amounts.
this whole recipe, yeah, it can be made with bread flour. It can be made with whole
Yeah.
wheat flour.
Yeah.
So
I've got like 10 pounds of whole wheat flour.
yeah,
homemade's great. Whole grains,
Yeah, I like that. Like, give me that delicious white stuff.
No, I mean, it's all good. And we got all sorts of jams and jellies and spreads and we could even make like special butters. We could make a garlic
Aragon
butter.
butter that I bought from.
There you go.
What's it called? What's it called?
Oh my god, easily baked. That's
Easily picked.
it's a really good bad pun.
Who suggested that one? That's good.
Scott suggested easily baked.
That's really good. Good job, Scott.
Yeah, Oliver says good job. I don't know how well you can hear people other than me talking.
We're gonna be like, we've heard everything you possibly said to your roommates in the last 3 days.
Oliver went to the bathroom an hour and 45 minutes ago.
Oh my gosh.
I also, have you guys ever had Brazilian bread? Like the cheese bread?
No.
It's tapioca flour.
Ooh.
It's amazing. And
Cool.
Alex tried to make it and then he messed up so bad he wouldn't make it again with me. So I'm gonna try to make it. This is the one that I have frozen now.
Scott says thank you.
No.
That would be a cool one for alternative flours because it's just like cheese and tapioca flour and then it like explodes out and it's like puppy.
That's really cool.
It's weird.
Oliver's getting a thing of Bisquick in today.
Well, they've shipped today, but I got 2 of the big things at Bisquick are in the mail from Target.
So
And more yeast.
I got some.
We'll make some good
stuff
biscuits.
too. It's not Bisquick. It was like the Kodiak cake.
Oh,
yeah, I have a
Love those.
similar like off-brand version of that from Tijo's.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Anything that resembles like a flour baking mix will be fantastic. Like.
It's weird. I do like bread, but I'm not crazy. Like I
think I could subsist solely off of it if I really
know you
needed
guys.
to.
You're really into. You're a bread lady.
My dad, he's like 11th generation American. Like Wisconsin.
My stream.
Oh no.
Where'd it go?
But he's, old school.
Battery fail. I know.
Wisconsin household.
I don't know
they
what.
all have like apple pie recipes and everything. But he would he would bake bread constantly when I was little.
You guys.
And you okay?
My
Your
battery is dead, and I can't figure out why it's not charging off of USB. Or maybe it looks like it is charging off USB.
But it's just like the power rate lower than the battery.
I think
depletion?
so.
Yeah, it can happen.
Oh.
Well, you're getting close to 5, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Not
my
discouraging.
poor camera, it needs to replenish.
I almost feel like I should just pull the photos up. When I was a kid, I loved to make this white bread. It's like a white left side.
I have definitely hit a productivity stopping point. I am probably going to hold on. We can do this better. I swear. There. There. Okay. So now you just have me. Woohoo! Aren't you so excited? Yeah, I'm gonna take my bread. I'm gonna make a breakfast sandwich. Really hope you can actually hear me. I'm gonna let my camera charge so it's good for tomorrow. And just kind of like clean up and yeah. Probably go sit outside. Boomer, you want to be on the stream? Boomer. Everything's gone awry already. You should... I know. I was like, I should not count on you to pick her up and hand her to me. Boomer! She's like, I don't know about this.
Snatched. Thieved.
Yes, I know. I know. Can everyone see you?
I feel bad about it.
Yes, everyone can see you. Look at the camera. Oof. Your legs are everywhere.
Like, I don't like this.
This is my bestest studio assistant. She's staring like right into the webcam now, and it's very like intense. Okay, she's done with that.
She's like the cat from yesterday that's like really angry that everyone's there.
Yeah. Yes. Oh gosh. Ah, what the hell? I'm gonna clean up while I'm still on the stream. We'll just chat and talk about Boomer and make puns, and then I'll actually sign off. See, okay, I would totally make a second loaf of bread for a still life, because I mean, come on, this is a photogenic piece of bread. But it smells so good. Like, I don't know if I could not eat it immediately. Oh, you're back already? Oh, well, I won't pick you up this time, because I'm benevolent overlord. Thank you guys for sticking with me on that. It's not exactly like the productive afternoon I had envisioned, but you know what? We had a successful baking adventure, and I mean, what's better than that? Yes, I agree. It would be an affront. I would have to spray the bread with fixative. That's horrifying. Also, I feel like not what we should be doing to our food during a pandemic. It's gonna put like a whole new spin on the starving artist stereotype. Like, I had the things to make myself food, but you know what? I just really felt like I needed to paint it.
You get your stream working again?
I'm just letting the camera charge, and I have my webcam on full screen, and we're just kind of chatting because it's not like I'm painting anymore. Oh my God, where are earthquakes? In Salt Lake City?
Yep, that happened this morning.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's like end times.
Yeah. We had tornadoes, we had the plague, we had the earthquakes.
Is everyone safe, Sean? I'm glad. How bad was it? I haven't been like following, well, my version of following the news is asking my roommates who follow the news to tell me what's happening. I'm glad. You've not missed much today. My camera's battery just died and needs to be recharged. I started the stream late, and then I started baking bread, and we had like a whole genre shift to like baking ASMR videos instead of like instructional painting live stream. So there might be some nuggets of good content if you go and like watch back through it. But yeah, we're like definitely at the tail end here. Oh wow. When was the last aftershock? Also, A+ to you guys for like metaphorically screaming when when my camera battery died. I enjoyed all of the messages. Wow. Well, I hope it is remarkably uneventful. Man, that's a big aftershock. I mean, not that I'm like a geologist, but well, I'm glad everyone is okay. So earlier I was saying that I have like a couple of calls tomorrow. One of them is before I would start streaming. The other is like shortly after I would normally start. I'm just gonna see like how much of the call I want to stay for. So I may start closer to like 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow instead of 1. But I might like go a little bit later into the evening. Stephen, I hope you have a great evening. I hope Steph does as well. Rate is kind of crummy on the stream. I hope it's not like distracting, but I guess on the plus side, you know, we're kind of past the exciting part. I wish my camera would tell me if it's like successfully charging. I guess I'll check on it in like an hour. Having all kinds of just technical annoyances today. Like that video lesson I uploaded earlier for my student is still like 0% processing on YouTube, and I'm like, why? Why? This bread smells so good, you guys. Like, I honestly was kind of skeptical of a recipe that was like, no need, you can do it with all-purpose flour, like you don't need a specific kind of yeast. Like, I was like, we'll see. This is so good. I mean, I'm not like a connoisseur, you know, like, is it starchy? Great. But I would highly recommend for someone who just wants like a really easy loaf. I think I started at 11:30 today, and I dug into it we'll just round up and say 4:30. So it needed like a total of 5 hours, but it was probably like maybe 10 whole minutes actually interacting with it in any way. So In case you wanted a review of a bread recipe, I'm here for you. That sounds good, Scott. I hope you have a very productive session. Okay. My palette is clean, my brushes are clean. I'm replacing my paper towel so that I'm ready for tomorrow, aside from I'll probably put out some fresh paint tomorrow. I think that's it. I'm gonna go put this cutting board and loaf of bread back in the kitchen where it probably belongs. Wish me luck that like my camera charges and this video on YouTube actually processes so I can get it back to my student. Had a ton of trouble uploading it, and finally it uploaded successfully, and now it's just not processing, which wait, I think it processed. I think this is a good omen. I'm very pleased. Yes. All right. Well, with that being said, I think I'm gonna go chill, probably sit outside, enjoy what could arguably be called sunshine. Same thing with fresh air. It's like very pollen-y here, so. Well, anyway. Happy painting to all of you. I will be back tomorrow, maybe a little bit later than usual, but I can't wait to talk to you all then. Thank you so much I love like getting to see all of you day after day. I think it's really cool, and I really appreciate that you want to hang out with me. So, all right, with that, have a good afternoon, good evening, and stay safe.